The story begins with an ordinary man named Doja. Every night after work, he escapes into the world of his favorite web novel, 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse. For 10 long years, he has read every single chapter. Everyone else stopped, but he kept going. He's the only one who reached the end. But the ending breaks his heart. The hero, Byung-woo, survives alone while everyone else dies. Doja leaves work on the same day the last chapter is released. It's the last day of his temporary job. He feels lost, but then something strange happens. The author of the web novel sends him a message, thanking him for being the only reader and telling him that at 7 p.m., the real story will begin. As the train moves through the city, everything seems normal. But suddenly, the lights flicker, the train stops, and a terrifying creature, a dakibi, appears in the air. It announces that the free trial of Planetary System 8612 has ended. Now begins the paid content. The apocalypse has arrived for real. Everyone is confused and terrified. But Doja understands what's happening because he's read it all before. The dakibi gives everyone their first mission: kill at least one living being in the next 10 minutes or die. People panic. They look at each other with fear. Doja remembers the rules from the novel: it doesn't have to be a person. He finds a boy's ant farm and kills an ant. The train shakes as the second scenario begins. A giant monster crashes through the windows. People scream and run. Doja teams up with a soldier named Yensung, who has awakened a combat skill. Together they fight through the chaos. Doja knows that the protagonist Byung-woo is also on this train. If Byung-woo dies, time resets. If he survives, the story continues. The monster swallows Doja whole, but instead of dying, he uses a trick from the novel to block its acid ducts and kill it from the inside. The dakibi Bihong is forced to reward him with rare items. The survivors escape to a nearby underground station, but the nightmare isn't over. A man named Inho takes control of the station, bullying and exploiting others for survival coins. Doja meets Hyo-seop, a brave and clever girl, and Sa, a calm fighter. They form a small team. To clear the stage, they must enter the dark tunnels and defeat the ground rat warden, a terrifying creature. The tunnels are pitch black, and danger lurks in every corner. But Doja's knowledge gives them an edge. They work together, strike with precision, and kill the monster. They return with new weapons and strength. But Inho betrays them, trying to kill Hyo-seop for her loot. Doja saves her and turns the survivors against Inho's gang, taking back control of the station. The next scenario begins: green zones appear across the station. These are the only safe places for monsters. A man named Pilda claims them for himself using deadly turrets. Anyone who approaches gets shot. People are trapped. Doja refuses to let it end like this. He leads his team against Pildu, using his intelligence and knowledge of the original novel. They manage to outsmart him, disable the turrets, and free the green zones so everyone can survive together. Just when things seem to calm down, the sky darkens and the entire station is lifted into space. A massive dragon appears. It's the same creature that killed Byung-woo in the original novel. The final battle begins. Byung-woo charges at the dragon with his sword. Hyo-seop uses fire magic. Sa and Gil-ong, a young boy with unique powers, fight desperately to hold it back. Doja directs everyone like a strategist. But the dragon is too strong. Byung-woo is burned and collapses, just like in the story. But this time, Doja refuses to accept fate. The survivors panic. Some cry. Others freeze in place. But Byung-woo steps forward, his sword gleaming under the strange cosmic light. He doesn't speak. He just charges. Hyo-seop ignites her hands with bright red fire, launching waves of flame at the dragon to distract it. Sa moves silently, climbing onto the twisted metal of the station for a better angle to attack. Gil-ong, the youngest among them but with incredible powers, summons his creature, forcing the dragon to turn its massive head. Doja stands at the center, his mind racing. He's not as strong as Jung-hyuk, but he has something no one else has, knowledge. He has read this fight before. He knows where the dragon's scales are weakest, when it will attack, and how many will die, if he does nothing. Gilong, left wing, he shouts. Hwon, burn the core when it opens its mouth. He coordinates every move like a battlefield general. Doja stands at the center, his mind racing. He's not as strong as Jung-hyuk, but he has something no one else has, knowledge. He has read this fight before. He knows where the dragon's scales are weakest, when it will attack, and how many will die, if he does nothing. Gilong, left wing, he shouts. Hwon, burn the core when it opens its mouth. He coordinates every move like a battlefield general. But the dragon is stronger than anything they've ever faced. With a single flap of its wings, it creates a shockwave that throws people across the station. Jung-hyuk slashes at its chest but is knocked down like a toy. Hwon's flames scatter in the air. Jailong's creature shatters under the force. The dragon breathes a massive wave of fire. Jung-hyuk jumps in front, taking the hit to protect the others. His armor melts, his body burns, and he collapses on the ground, just like in the story. For a brief moment, time seems to freeze. This is the point where, in the original novel, everything ends. The hero dies. The world resets. But Doja clenches his fists. He refuses to let the story repeat itself. As the dragon roars again, Doja reaches into his inventory and pulls out the rarest item he has ever earned, the Ether of Faith. A blinding light explodes around him. His broken sword floats into the air, reshaping itself with golden flames dancing around the blade. The light wraps around his body like armor. Not this time, he whispers. He sprints toward the beast, dodging fire and debris, leaping from broken pillars as if he's been here 1,000 times. His team follows his lead, finding new courage. Hwon burns through the dragon's right wing. Saw strikes its leg. Gilong unleashes everything he has left. Doja climbs onto the dragon's neck, looking straight into its glowing eyes. He can feel its rage, its power, but also its weakness. With one final roar, the dragon opens its mouth wide to unleash another wave of destruction. But Doja moves faster. He plunges his blade straight into the dragon's core, the same place he once read about but never thought he'd see. Light bursts out of the wound. The dragon thrashes violently, shaking the entire station, but it's too late. The beast lets out a deafening cry before crashing into nothingness, its enormous body fading into glowing embers. The station trembles again, but this time it starts to descend. Slowly, they fall back through the clouds, returning to Earth. As the dust settles, a bright blue screen appears in front of everyone, scenario completed. Awards distributed. Doja receives a flood of coins, titles, and items. The most important reward, the one he fought for, allows him to revive Jung-hyuk. Warm light surrounds Jung-hyuk's burned body. His wounds heal. His breathing returns. He opens his eyes and looks at Doja, not with his usual coldness, but with something new, respect. The survivors cheer. Hwon cries out in relief. Gilong raises his fist in victory. Saw just smiles faintly, exhausted but alive. Doja looks at all of them, his friends, his allies. He realizes something no one else does. In the original novel, Jung-hyuk always survived alone. But now, because of Doja's choice, the future has changed. He takes a deep breath, looking at the night sky. This battle is over. But a far greater war is coming. He's not just a reader anymore. He's a part of the story now, the one who rewrites fate.